Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and knowledge, welcome to an experience that will take you on a captivating journey beyond our world. Today we have a special treat for you as we sit down with the renowned Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier. Prepare yourself for a rapid-fire question and answer session that delves into the depths of cosmic wisdom and unveils the mysteries of the universe. As always, please remember to like this video and share it with your friends and family. That way, it gets seen by more truth seekers. Also, remember Alex hosts a live webinar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to visit the link in the description for more information. But for now, here are today's rapid-fire questions and answers.
Dear Alex, you have often said that many of us are souls that have traveled back from our future to right a terrible wrong. Please elaborate how this can be possible, especially if there's now only one timeline. Is history changeable after the fact?
Yes. Yes, it is. See, the matrix we've been living in, we see time only as linear. The rest of the universe doesn't see it as linear. And for those of us who are just coming out of the matrix or are still stuck in the matrix, we cannot possibly conceive what that means or what that even looks like. We just can't. But the rest of the universe is not linear. Past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously. The more we learn about quantum, the more educated we will be in order to have to form a constructive visual of what that looks like, and then an understanding of how it all works. At the moment, we don't here because we're just coming out of our coma. So, it's also important to note that some of us came in on alternate timelines, specifically to be merged into this one. And the reason that decision was made is because to come in on this timeline, the one we're on, they would have been taken out. They would have been removed. They never would have survived. So they came in on alternate timelines. Now, obviously, I'm talking about highly evolved beings, so that their merging into this one timeline would be seamless, and they could merge into this timeline virtually unseen. Virtually unseen. Boots on the ground. Okay? Boots on the ground. And I'm leaving that there.
Three-letter agencies. Among these operating, could you please specify those which have been taken over by the white hats for sure, and what will be the condition for the other agencies to be taken down? There's more questions, but I'll just leave it there.
I don't have any information specifically about that. There's at least a dozen that need to go away. We are going from a corporate government to a constitutional republic. They are completely different beasts, different animals. If we move everything to a local level, which is where it was designed and meant to be, keeping it in the hands of the people, then we don't need the bureaucracy. We don't need it at all. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is such a good question. This government, these governments we have, they were supposed to service the people. They were supposed to be there to assist the people, to protect the people, to protect their rights, to protect the borders of each country. Not to become the masters. Not to become the masters. To make sure that doesn't happen again, that's on us. That's on we the people. To make sure we have a government that protects and is of service to us. We don't become its slaves. No, 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 no. If you empower yourself, you empower your children. If you educate yourself on how all things work, if you educate the children on how all things work, this doesn't happen again. You put the structure in place so it doesn't happen again. And we just got to make sure it happens. We have to call the shots. Okay? There is no, well, that's not possible. That's all bullshit. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Okay? Your twin flame is source. Your soul is attached to other multiple dimensions of enormous potential and knowledge and wisdom, and a depth of love and compassion and knowledge we couldn't even begin to comprehend here on earth. Someone tells you it's not possible, it's bullshit. All things are possible. Just got to figure out a way. That's it. Just got to figure out a way to make it happen.
Hi, Alex. Years back, you talked about the A's being in awe about how we hold our reality together with our intent. Could you talk more about this? I talked to a scientist about this, and he said that was too deep for him to go into.
Yeah. I bet he did. Well, when you go to these universities and you want a job using your degree, you have to think like they do, or at least pretend to think like they do, so that you can work at university or work at a lab or wherever and get your paycheck and then get your tenure and, then your retirement. And as long as you play the game, you focus on that. Again, when you're talking about intent, you are wholly talking about the spirituality and the soul of a being. He probably couldn't go there because it would fuck up his head and his perspective and view of reality, which means he would not be able to continue moving forward doing the job he was hired to do. Now, I don't say this lightly. I've had these conversations. In fact, back in the 90s, I had a long correspondence with David Bowie. And we would write and then email about a lot of questions like that. And he was a very, very well-educated man. And he had circles that he moved in where he would talk about spirit and soul, reincarnation. And he himself told me about some very difficult conversations he had with people he had known a long time who simply would not break mold from the culture that they were in and teaching in to go there, to go to the spiritual side. They simply wouldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And he told me about a conversation he had with a friend of his at Cambridge who told him straight away, he goes, David, if I go down that road, I cannot do the things that I need to do here at Cambridge. And I would lose everything. So I know that that's not an isolated event. It's not.
Because we know our matrix is largely controlled by the collective consciousness that lies within, what would things look like here if the worldwide cabal-controlled media was forced to speak truth for even a month? Would you consider that intervention or interference as defined by the updated Prime Directive? Thank you, Commander.
If they were forced to tell the truth, they probably all have brain aneurysms. We could hire new people, you know. They would probably swallow their tongues if they had to tell the truth for a month. Oh my God. That's interesting. That's interesting. That would be a great movie, wouldn't it? That would. That would be a great movie. You could have a lot of fun with that. I think we're going to have that here. And I don't think the Alliance is going to need to step in and do that. I think the White Hats already have this in hand. I think this is going to happen anyway. And, you know, most of the heavy lifting we're doing here ourselves on Earth. And that's appropriate because this is our mess. And, you know, that which we can clean up, that which we can own, we should. Because one, we learn from the experience. Two, we gain an incredible knowledge base of what to do and what not to do, and how to recognize darkness and evil and light. But it's also incredibly self-powering to know that in a situation as horrible as this, we can figure out a way to move past it. And these lessons now will be taught in the future to future humanity. So, you know, it's always good to learn how to do this. And by just jumping in and doing the hard work as much as you can, you gain from that experience. And once you know it, then you can teach it.
Since we currently only use a small percentage of our brain capacity, I use even less, will our brain power dramatically increase as our additional strands of DNA begin to activate?
You know, Katie, if I wasn't operating on such a small piece of my brain, I could answer that question for you.
Wow.
But I can't. Because I'm only using an itty bitty little bit. Actually, the answer to that is simply yes. As our DNA begins to be triggered and to expand and to realign itself, and the third strand is turned on, our consciousness will exponentially explode, because now we will have memory. And part of that memory is experiences we've already had. It will also be experiences that we can connect to in real time, in the now. Because past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously in the quantum field. You will be able to access that information. And just the knowing that you can and how to do it will expand your consciousness beyond anything we can even imagine at this particular moment. You know, having been stuck in the swamp. So the answer is yes. Thank you for that.
If we are supposedly moving towards having more telepathic, hang on, let me just move the mic closer, having more telepathic conversations, have you noticed any changes yourself?
I have. Oh, yeah, I have. Uh, Especially with Scooter over here. You know, I pick up a lot more on him when we go for a. So I have to spell things now. WALK. See, he opened his eyes. He can even spell now. Shit. Um, Before we get to the PARK, I already know who's there. And I don't know how I know, but I already know who's at the PARK, or if there's no one there. I'll be thinking about somebody regularly. This happens, this occurrence is regular now. I'll be thinking about someone and the phone will ring and it's them. You know, and their first words are, you know, you just popped into my head. So I thought I'd call and check in on you. I can't tell you how many times that happens now. It's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. And it's fun too. And it's fun. The other day, I needed to get some oat milk because I'm not allowed. I grew up on goat's milk because I have an allergy to dairy, even though I eat cheese and pizza. So I was going to go to the grocery store and pick up some oat milk, and I intuitively got that the local store, which is a mile from here, didn't have any. So I went across town to the other store to get it. And it turns out I was right, because they only had a couple of bottles here. So I said, can you call the other store and see if they have any? And they said, no, they don't have any. They just put in for an order. So, and I don't know how I knew that, but I did. You know, it's kind of fun, actually.
Good day, Alex. Researchers and some scientists speculate that we live in a simulation in this 3D reality. If this is so, maybe the looking glass that you mentioned from 2030 being static is because moving into the 5D frequency breaks us from that simulation. Is this too far out there, or have you heard anything on this?
No, I don't think that's out there at all. And in fact, that's probably at this particular point, based on the information we have, the likely probability that we jump by then, or some of us do. It doesn't necessarily mean the whole reality has to jump at that point. But all we'd have to do is create that opening, that portal of 5D. And it changes the frequency of everything, whether everybody's ready or not. It would be enough to change the frequency and to throw the quantum the word is on the tip of my tongue. To change the frequency just enough that the technology wouldn't know what it was looking at. It simply wouldn't know. For example, I'll give you an example. When I went up on the ship, there were some things I see, but for the most part, there were a lot of things I couldn't see. A lot of things were just gray or like black smudges, because my mind did not know what I was looking at. It couldn't comprehend what it was I was looking at, because I had nothing. My personal experience here on Earth, I didn't have an experience that I could relate to that specific object or life form. And it took literally the full time that I was there to see approximately 50 to 60% of it. I didn't get to see it all. This would be exactly the same thing. If the looking glass technology was built by us, then it's limited to our consciousness at the time that it was built. It would be limited to that. And it was built by a consciousness that saw 3D, maybe into a little bit of fourth. That's its capability. That is the span of the technology and its ability to see, would be that. Now, this simulation, and we can call it that if that makes it easier for you, based on our consciousness, this is the simulation. It's based on our consciousness. Now, you bring in something else that's completely different than this consciousness, like extraterrestrials, portals, fourth, fifth density, frequency, quantum fields. Well, that changes our perspective on our simulation. And what happens is our simulation changes to adapt to the new information. But you see, we're living essences. We're not a technology. We're a living essence that can not only adapt, but it can grow and it can absorb the knowledge and the information. And it can expand on an emotional field. And integrate all of that information, which then changes not only our perspective, but it changes our intent, and the field will automatically adjust, because it is our intent that holds the physicality together. It is. That's why they needed us, because they can't do this shit, but we can. All they had to do was convince us this was our world. This was the reality. And that's why it's changing, because now we know it's not. Now we know there's more. And there ain't shit they can do about it, because they've been adiosed. And we're taking it back, and we're taking it over. We're now making it ours, not theirs.
Do you know when the well of the modifications for harm and destruction will come to an end? Asks Diana Rose.
I do not. I do not. there is information that a great deal of the water on the surface is being moved into the inner earth to clean out not only the dumbs, but some other areas as well. And the Alliance is working with those in the inner earth, in the hollow earth area, to do this. They're working in concert together. And what's going to be happening very soon is that the water on the surface is going to be replenished. At least that's what I've been told. And I have absolutely no reason to think that that's not what's going to happen. Because, we have been seeing some very interesting rainfalls. 9 inches here, 12 inches here, and then the drought's over. So we'll just have to see. As the population grows, there are going to be those who are going to want to travel inside the earth. There are places inside the earth that have their own light. Where particles of the sun are captured in canyons, and they have a constant light, where specific things will grow in these caverns. And I mean, these caverns are, the size of states or countries. But they have to be cleaned out. Biologically, and the physical debris has to be cleaned out. So this is going on as we speak, and it has been going on for some time now, so that we can inhabit the entire earth. You see, the entire earth. And I apologize, but at this moment, that's as far as I can go with this. Guys, there's so many amazing things happening, as well as dark things. But there's more amazing things happening than dark things. And at some point, that's all going to flip. It's all going to be amazing. Just hang in there. And I know how tough it is, but just hang in there. Okay? We're going to be okay. I promise you we're going to be okay. The only reason it's so scary is because we don't have enough information. And it always looks like, here on the surface, the bad guys get away with jet. That's just how it looks. That's just how it looks.
There you have it, fellow truth seekers. An enlightening and exhilarating rapid-fire question and answer session with the remarkable Alex Collier, sharing his profound encounters with the benevolent Andromedan extraterrestrial beings. As we continue our cosmic journey, let us embrace the wisdom of the Andromedans and carry their message of love, unity, and compassion with us. Together, we can create a world where humanity stands united, ready to embrace the wonders that await us in the vast expanse of the universe. If you found this rapid-fire question and answer session fascinating, hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more captivating content like this. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Until next time, May the stars guide you on your path of enlightenment and exploration. And remember to always seek knowledge and stay curious. If you want to get the latest information from Alex Collier, we host a live webinar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org. Please click on one of the above videos to seek more of Alex Collier's knowledge.